When Tim Anderson, his wife Kelly, and their 3 children were stricken with the flu, they were about to embark on a months-long journey that threatened Tim's life. Kelly and the children recovered quickly, but Tim got so sick that his only option for survival was advanced specialized treatment available at Baptist Hospital in Pensacola. This is Tim's story.
It's so shocking because we all had the flu. You have the flu and you get better from the flu. You don't end up like this from the flu.
And when I got the phone call that Timothy was going to have to go onto a ventilator, I knew this was not good.
After he was admitted, that's when I was told very soon after that they did the lung scans, and he had not just ARDS, but severe ARDS. It looked like total lung failure, and that this was not a good diagnosis, that I needed to prepare myself for a long road ahead if he even made it.
They prepared us, and I'll never forget being told that the window was shutting. And I asked, "Do we have just a crack?" And he said, "We have a very small crack."
I had been accustomed to calling the hospital every night or first thing in the morning to check, how's he doing? Well, the ironic thing was that Wednesday morning when he was transferred to Baptist, the Mobile hospital would not call me back. I couldn't get anybody on the phone, nothing. Well, now I know why. They were on the phone with Dr. Diaz and John and the ECMO team trying to come up with a plan, and it's my understanding that the ECMO team had been working with this Mobile hospital overnight to tweak his ventilator settings to keep him alive throughout the night.
We didn't know if he would arrive here at Baptist alive. We were prepared for that not to be the case.
I had never heard of ECMO before. In fact, it was a last resort decision for us. It was either take a chance or you die tonight.
You see patients whenever they're at their sickest, especially for ECMO. It's one of those you're wondering, are they going to make it? Are they going to make it or are they not? And they're so sick and they're completely dependent on us. And you think about, you're like, okay, what can I do to make sure that this outcome is the best it can possibly be?
Our team it's diverse, it's dynamic, it's comprised of some of the most intelligent people that I've ever worked with.
It's pretty remarkable, Tim's case, but there are, that's what we're there for, is to try and get those remarkable cases. We want to, when there's nothing else, we're going to keep doing what we can do and see if we can't increase those odds for someone.
So basically it's the heart and lungs. It does everything the heart and lungs does. Our purpose is to let your heart and lungs rest.
But to know that you've made a big difference in somebody's life, they can see that you've done everything that you could to give them an opportunity.
So to see him up walking around with his family, hearing the stories of him being able to walk 2 miles every single day, probably outdoing all of us, is just an absolutely incredible experience, and really helps give meaning to what we do.
My youngest was in 4K at the time, and she brought the flu home. It's pretty much started with a little fever and a bit of a cough. Last thing I remember is they said they had to put me on a ventilator. I told them no, I can breathe just fine. And then everything went dark. And I woke up 5 weeks later in Baptist Hospital.
I have never met a group of people who are so devoted, so intelligent, that worked so hard. People on this ECMO team that did not take days off that they could have had, that stayed with Timothy and told me they were going to stay until. And they did. They sacrificed a lot of time with their own families and their own children in order for me and all of us to keep our family intact.
I'm back at work full time doing what I was doing before I got sick, so I'm very, very lucky.
There is no way I can thank them. I am eternally grateful. They're so incredible. And I will never forget how they saved my son's life. It was the most remarkable journey of my life.
I feel just, I'm almost as strong as I was before I got sick.
The sense that I have is that this is what I'm good at, and this is what I was called to do.
I'm not sure I would want to do anything else.
Here they are 2 months later walking out of the hospital. So it's definitely a great feeling.
Literally, when I woke up, I thought I was still in Mobile, and it was like a couple of days after I went to the hospital. And I had no idea it was actually 5 weeks in a different state.
And in all honesty, every day, I thank God for these people and for whoever bought that machine. I would love to give them a hug.
And they make the best of the most horrible situation you could ever imagine.